afternoon, Seattle, and welcome to the Joprah Show. I'm Joe Janot, and live in studio today on 1150 Alternative Talk. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all of you out there today. We want to welcome everybody to a big show today, the best of 2012 Joprah style, with my stellar crew, panel of judges, and hers truly on the town with Lisa Martin. Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Joe.
How are you doing, my love?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How was your Christmas? Gambling.
There was no gambling.
There's no possible way.
But it was very merry.
Was it very merry?
It was very merry.
You know, it was a good Christmas.
Yeah.
I wanted snow. I got nothing.
We got rain and
That's okay. That's what we do.
Stuff.
It's the Northwest. Yeah. That's what we do. But I tell you this, Lisa.
Yeah.
My kids got lots of good toys.
I can't wait to hear.
They got lots of stuff. The big fella, he scored well. He got like a digital camera so he can start shooting movies.
Oh,
he wants to make movies. So he's rolling there. I even got him one of those little clamper things, to say action.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's going nuts. I got to give him a boom mic next. And then my genius one, he just wants to design cars and start going 100 miles an hour. So that's he's on point. And then itty bitty, little Savannah.
Yeah.
She got two little horsies. Not one, but two.
Gangster.
She got everything. That's how it goes. And so it was a good Christmas. I cooked a lot.
Yeah.
And, of
Did
course.
you get your prime rib and potatoes?
I got my prime rib. And, of course, guess what happened?
What?
I had to clean up, too. That is back-to-back. Thanksgiving, cleaned. Christmas, cleaned. I'm negotiating the new deal next year. In
I think
2013,
I cooked and cleaned, too.
Yeah, 2013.
About that.
I'm not, if I have to cook, I'm not cleaning. But that's a whole new story. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to petition that one for the families.
We have to. And then the best thing that happened this weekend, though, was the Seahawks.
Woohoo!
Beat the 49ers.
That was ridiculous.
I tell you, the whole city's going crazy.
It is. It's on fire.
I mean, I got people all around. Bloggers are writing about it. The mayor's talking about it. Even my mom knew, at 80 years old, the Seahawks won. She's on fire, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a surprise birthday party this weekend for her.
Oh,
she's not listening. She's not listening today. She's out. All the kids are in town, and so we're having a big party for her this weekend. She's turning 80, and so we got a lot of pictures together.
Nice.
And I have to show you. I got like pictures of back when I was 4 years old. And 6 years old. I had a big fro. I had a big fro.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the cake cutter and the pick and the whole nine. So I'll bring those up. Maybe I'll put those up on my Facebook so you can see little Joe.
Little Joe.
Yeah, but he had a big fro. I was tall back in those days. I was tall. So, on the Joprah Show today, we talked about it. We're going to do it today. We're going to do the best stuff of 2012. We brought in some phenomenal panel judges here.
I'm very excited.
Very excited. And we had to bring in some professionals because if you're going to do the best stuff, you got to have people who does the homework, who know what's going on, and who can tell us straight. And, of course, I have a few, secret questions that no one's know about.
You always do.
I always do, because I want to catch you guys off guard. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to break here on the Joprah Show, have a quick message, and then we'll be right back here on the Joprah Show on Alternative Talk.
What we're living in, let me tell ya. Well, it's a world that man can eat at all. When things are big that should be small. Who can tell what magic spells we'll be doing for us? And I'm giving up.
Advertising on the Joprah Show is a great and affordable way to have people stand up and take notice of your business. When you advertise with Joprah, you reach an audience that's smart, savvy, and is receptive to your message. For more information, email Joe at joprahshow@gmail.com. That's joprahshow@gmail.com. Wisdom Within is a new talk radio show featuring psychic medium and healer Lindsay Paul and animal intuitive and healer Shauna Fisher. From your lunch break to vacation, from your car to your kitchen, from despair to newfound awareness. Join this enthusiastic duo as they fearlessly tap into the depths of wisdom and help you soar to new heights by answering your ultimate questions. Get your weekly dose of spirituality with a kick of reality rolled into 1 hour. Thursdays at 1 p.m. Get out of your head and tune into your soul.
Come into the light with the latest news and information about what's going on in the world of real estate, mortgage, and personal finance. Tune in to Brassionomics for a fast-paced, upbeat, and informative hour you seriously don't want to miss. Be prepared to soak in the knowledge and laugh as Ben Brassion and his guests of industry professionals share their ideas and strategies you'll surely use every day in your own life. Brassionomics has the information you've been craving with a fresh perspective we've all been waiting for. Listen Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Find out more at Brassionomics.com. If you like The Joprah Show and all its no excuses truth,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
you need to follow Joprah on Facebook. Just search for The Joprah Show, and on Twitter, it's @Joprah Show. We'll keep you up to date with the latest and greatest about what's coming up on the show, public appearances, and everything that is Joprah approved. Joprah approved.
Is that why you were here?
I'm Ken Johnson from Aha Toro Tequila. You're listening to The Joprah Show on Alternative Talk.
You're listening to Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Where we'll be, and nothing's gonna change the way we live. 'Cause we can always take but never give.
Welcome back to the Joprah Show. You're at the best of 2012 with my main girl, Lisa Martin, in the house. And we are talking with the great ones today about the best of. And I said to Lisa, I go, listen, I want to do the best of, but I don't want it to be atypical. Got to have a few twists. Got to have things a little interesting, things from the cuff, Joprah style, right? So, first off, I had to get a panel. I had to call some people. I had to make it. And since I couldn't get, like the president, and Jeff Bezos turned me down. He was a little busy. And, I called Bill Gates, a little busy.
A little busy, yeah.
I said, well, who's next? Who could I bring in? I called Sean Kemp. He's flying with his kids this weekend, so I couldn't get Sean Kemp. Chris Hansen's wife's about to have a baby, so I couldn't get Chris Hansen. So then I thought, well, who's on the next list? Who's number 4 after that? Number 5? Well, I started looking around. I did some research. So I brought in some of the great bloggers and writers and freelance writers of Seattle today. So I brought in the king himself. If you go to any food event, if you go to any restaurant opening, if you're just down shooting some craps one day next to Lisa, you're going to run into my man here. Chris Nishawaki is the king of food writing in Seattle. He goes everywhere. And tonight on the show, we are a pleasure to have Chris. How you doing, my brother?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for coming. And then, Chris, he goes, I got somebody else. I said, who? Who, Oprah? He goes, no, almost like Oprah. Like,
Oprah
who?
and Joprah? Oprah and Joprah?
Oprah and Joprah's got to happen soon. I said, well, who's after Oprah? He goes, this girl named Erin Thomas. I said, who's Erin Thomas? So, we did some background checks. I called some people, and she's like the queen of freelance writing. She's an ex-Coug. She's an alum. I said, I got to have her on the show if she's a Coug, right? So we got today. She works now for the Seattle Weekly, just started going there, and she does some stuff for I think she's editor of the SIP magazine Northwest. Let's welcome today Erin Thomas to the show. Erin, how are you, love?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Joprah Show.
Thank you.
And then, if you're going to have the Joprah Show, we got to bring her back. This is my mom's favorite person. My mom every week, where is Ann? So, if you're going to have the best stuff, we had to call Sullivan's and ask her to take a phone break. Because she's always on the phone down there.
She's got conference calls.
Oh, and so we had to bring back Ann Fever, general manager of the Sullivans. Ann, thanks for coming to the show. Welcome, babe.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay. So let's get to work. Best of 2012, Joprah style. We're going to get to work here. So let's talk about it. Let's get going. First story, biggest thing, number one question off my brain today was, what was the biggest story of the year in your guys' hands in Seattle? Was it like same-sex marriage, liquor being privatized, marijuana being legalized? What was the biggest story of the year in Seattle?
I think it's all of the above. Put
Yeah?
together. One of my favorite things during it was election year, so there's no hiding from that. But this was on a T-shirt or a bumper sticker, but it redefined the GOP. In Washington State, it was gays, Obama, and pot. That summarizes it for me.
That's it. Gays, Obama, and pot by my Chris. Just right off the bat. Erin, what do you think? Yes, they all have good points. Well, was there a favorite for you, or was there a bigger story?
Marriage equality was kind of a soapbox issue for me, and I think in Seattle it really rang true that was one of the city's major standpoints too. The Pacific Northwest is where the majority of the votes, because where the majority of the people are, so that's where it's mostly coming from. But I think we have a really solid, GLBT, did I do that wrong? Gay, lesbian, bi, transsexual. We have a really huge community for that in this city, so I think that really rallied the troops and got a lot of people behind it, a lot of support, so that was cool to see.
No, I'm with you on that. I would say that. Nan, what do you got? Are you thinking?
I had Lisa's love life at the top of the list there for Seattle progression, but right behind that, I would think election year, like he said, it's more of a compilation to me. Liquor privatization affected some of us. People go into the store, There's more booze readily available now. They can get pot, and they can get married. So it's a very happy city.
There's a lot of love going on right now because you can get boozed up, smoke a little, and get married all in one day.
Yeah.
Right?
You can.
Right, well, good. I mean, I think those are good stories. I mean, I think that you see same-sex thing really booming, though. I mean, I know I have a lot of my friends getting married at a rapid rate, which I would do the same, too. You know, I would. I don't blame them. So let's keep moving forward. You know, if you're talking Seattle, you're talking mayors. And right now, you know, we got this mayor pulling off some very interesting things in Mayor McGinn, and the race is going to come up next year. But who's going to win? I mean, I have a lot of people liking our new mayor and don't like our mayor. Mm-hmm. You know, and if the Seattle Supersonics come back to Seattle, Mayor McGinn's going to get a big push out of that. You know, I think that could happen. But, you know, you got Peter Steinbrück, you got Kate Martin. I mean, who's going to be our next mayor next year?
Well, I think the fact that there's so many candidates already in the race gives you a sense that the incumbent is vulnerable. And one of the, so in broad terms, one of the mistakes I think that McGinn is making is he's going about business as usual. What I've found over the years, election after election, most voters are very forgiving if you ask for forgiveness. I mean, look at Bill Clinton. He lied, he was impeached, but once he asked for forgiveness, his legacy was clear. McGinn is going about it as if nothing's wrong. He's doing, you know, he doesn't even look like he's running for re-election. So I think he's clearly weak. You got Steinbrück. There are a couple other candidates I haven't announced. I think Ron Sims is thinking about a run at.
I think Sims has his berth in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think he would be a very strong candidate. There's another Albert Shen, who's a consultant. He's mulling it over. He's done a lot of work with the port. A very bright young man. I think and a strong leader. That gives you a sense that there's a sense that we need change in City Hall.
I see it. And we're thinking. Get that look, maybe no. Okay.
There's 6 candidates already in. I mean, it's a strong race, but.
I think, you know what, I think surprisingly, I believe in 2013, Mayor McGinn's going to win again. I think that the Sonic thing is going to be his big push. I think that's going to be his.
I don't think that's going to be enough to leverage him.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm a for or against.
I hear you.
It's also a very divisive issue. The stadiums in general, sports stadiums in general, are a very divisive issue. In the perception of subsidizing the wealthy is a very, very touchy issue with Seattle.
It is.
And then you get in traffic and parking involved with all that, and that really gets the attention of voters.
Right. But we all still go. Somehow we all make it to the games.
I think it's good for the economy. I think sports teams is good for the economy. It's good for the image.
It's good for everybody. It's a win-win. I mean, look what's getting ready. Look what's going on with Seattle right now with the Seahawks. Big. All right, let's move forward. Let's move forward. If you were mayor of the day, what would you do? If you were mayor of the day, I know what Joprah would do. I'll give you mine at the end here. But, Ann, if you were mayor of the day, what would you do? Come on, Ann.
I'm going free parking.
Free parking for the day. I like it.
Fix the parking situation downtown.
Free parking for the day.
I was going to go there, too. And I was looking at Ann, too, because I found that parking really hurts the
Downtown Seattle Association, it is the hottest topic, and you hear that from every business owner, every CEO, every lawyer, everyone downtown.
And it's something that's a consumer, me as a consumer, that I think it's easy to take for granted, but I think it hurts small businesses, it hurts restaurants, it hurts shopping.
Well, it deters you from going there. You don't want to spend $4 an hour to park on the street
and
for 3 hours.
2 hours, too. So if you sit down and you want to have a nice meal, you got to look at your watch, and then you're like, shoot, I got to get up and pay my parking like right in the middle of your dinner. It's like ridiculous.
We were sitting on a board, and we had people literally look at Kate Jonkus and say, I would rather drive to Bellevue and park where parking is easily accessible and shop in Bellevue than drive downtown and spend the money downtown and keep downtown Seattle alive.
Well, you know how that all works. You know, the parking is owned by only so many names, and they just take care of paying people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's never going to change.
I worked for the city for a city council member who was chairing DCLU at the time. So the parking lobby would come to the council member, and the things that I heard from them about how they were, their interest was not small business.
No, never has been. Never has been. Okay,
what's
Chris,
yours?
If you're mayor of the day, Chris.
That was it. That was parking.
All right.
It was parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe lighter tickets from the parking.
Someone gets hit with parking tickets too much. 35's killing you.
I would like half that price. That would be good.
17. And I can pay on my phone right away.
Yeah, there you
right?
go. Accessibility.
Lisa, more men in Seattle, right?
No, there's a lot of men. Just gotta loosen them up.
Oh, that's a whole other question coming down the road. What would you do if you were mayor? Yes.
I would say everybody gets off at 3 on Friday, and I'm buying everybody a cocktail.
God bless you.
Jeez.
3 o'clock, and we're going out drinking.
I like that.
Yeah, we're going to start the weekend off right.
I would. I like that.
Yeah?
I like that.
There we go. Happy faces for all.
Now,
and you?
Well, you know,
mayor for the day?
Mayor for the day. The mayor has shut down the city at noon. Prince is coming to Seattle, and we're having a concert. We're having a party.
The city, big.
I am hosting Prince, and we're having a concert for all 200,000 of us.
Who's opening for Prince?
Who's opening for Prince? Joprah. What do you mean?
Joprah on the tables?
Something old school.
Old school for
Just
us?
get down for them.
Nice.
You know, me and Chris, wiki. You know what I'm saying? Good. Well, you know, let's talk about disappointing things. What was the most disappointing thing that happened in Seattle this year? You know, was it that people thought liquor was going to be cheaper? I mean, I think a lot of people were surprised when they went to the liquor store to buy a bottle of booze.
They didn't read the fine print when they
Education still in quandary. May Day. I was sort of bothered by May Day. People beating up on my downtown like that. Mm-hmm. You know, or was it that, you know, porn is still free in the library?
That one still gets me.
You can watch porn if you go to the library. There's no law against it. Junior and itty-bitty walking by, they can look up, and there's the show.
Isn't there some kind of indecency issue with that? Or?
They thought that. They tried to fight it. Couldn't win. Yeah. Good lawyers, I guess. First Amendment. But could it be liquor? I mean, could it be the most surprising thing when I was buying a bottle of booze, and the next guy bought a bottle of booze behind me, and he was like, the wine price said $29, and why does it say $36? You know, to have $7 worth of taxes?
That's ridiculous.
I think the biggest disappointment was just in the human nature, the May Day issue, being downtown and having to have my entire restaurant barricaded with 18 security guys in front of our glass windows to make sure my staff and guests were safe from people coming by and throwing things. And that was just sad to watch downtown get annihilated in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, and it's some windows still haven't been fixed.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah, that's devastating. You don't want to see that happen to your city, and it's just kind of, I mean, what's that really affecting, you know? So, I don't know, I'd say liquor privatization, but I knew that was going to happen, so I kind of anticipated it. The state's got to make the money back somehow, but that'll balance out, I think. It'll just take a couple of years.
Take some time.
I'm with Aaron. I think over the course of time, that the consumer's going to dictate the market.
Sure.
But what I found out time and time again is consumers don't like sticker shock. They'll pay a premium if you deliver on quality. That's the sticker shock piece. That was it just wasn't handled very well by most businesses. Things like, oh, well, we won't tell them. Maybe they're more likely to pick it up off the shelf, and then by the time that they're registered, it's too late. I mean, that's not the way to engender consumer confidence.
Right. Well, the commercials made it sound like if you vote for this, you're going to pay less for booze.
Those two, the campaigns for and the campaign against, in all my time covering politics, were the two worst ran campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were. Lisa, do you have something that was the most disappointing this year?
I think the education. I think it's sad that kids were going to school with no heat and flooded rooms and things like that, and nothing was done about it. I mean,
the physical plants of the schools is
ridiculous. And then they say, we'll get to you in 4 years. It's like, those kids aren't going to be there in 4 years. Nope. They need it now. And I think education was a big
mess.
On through higher ed, too. I'm a big advocate of higher ed. You know, this is about me. I think it's the state, local, we got to do something about that.
Why is it such a problem?
Tax me, man. It's an investment.
Yeah.
I'll pay for kids.
How hard can it be? If everybody wants it, how hard can it be?
Tax liquor and pot. There we go.
Where is that? All that money.
Put some more money on that, right? I mean, a lot of us here in education. It just seems to keep missing the boat. I mean, I asked my dad, I go, has it always been this way? He goes, yep. It's always been this way.
And it's just sad. It's sad that it's always been that way. And nothing's changing. Like, it's that, you know,
it should change a little bit.
We should progress. We have gay marriage. It's legal now. We should be able to progress and take care of the things that need it to be taken care of.
Finding Lisa a date. That's number 2. No, I'll tell you my most disappointing. And I said May Day. I was downtown. I just thought it was a lot of control. And I thought, if people are going to be this way, then treat them that way. You know, I said old school days, just round up the buses, put them around each way, and don't let them get out, and then change the game. But that's just me. You know, I just think that next year when it comes up, or in 2 years when it comes up, we should be better prepared. At the same time as Mayor of Seattle, I think they need to put their foot down and just not let it happen.
Well, in Seattle Police, at that point, were already under scrutiny, and they had a plan in place. It just deferred from the direction they thought it was going earlier in the day than they had planned to respond.
Right.
And they took so much heat for any form of aggression back or even standing their ground.
Yeah, no,
it's people just crazy.
No, everyone wants a perfect world. You're not going to get that. People have sticks. Well,
Send Joe out with a baton.
Hey, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Well, let's talk about the scene of Seattle. Let's move on to some fun and exciting stuff. Let's talk about dating. Seattle's a terrible dating town. We all know that. We've done shows here on the Joprah Show about dating.
Yeah.
We still got single women in this room after a year that still, talk about bad dating and all. But let's talk about what can we do to make Seattle a better dating city, a better dating scene. What would you do, Ann, to change the dating world? Aaron, Chris, especially on the Town with Lisa, what would we do to change a little bit of the dating theme?
Somehow we got to loosen people up.
Loosen people up. Number one.
People need to be more approachable here. Like, people are not approachable here.
Why?
It's a Seattle personality.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, you can go to other cities and you're sitting there and people will talk to you. People will approach you. You'll start a conversation, whatever it is. What are you drinking? Like, where are you from? People, when people are from out of town in Seattle. If somebody's from Chicago or from L.A. or someplace like that because they have no problem engaging a conversation.
Approachability.
I think people in Seattle stay in their little bubble.
That goes both ways, though, too, because a lot of times if you're approached and then you think that person's a creep, and
but I think that's the nature of Seattle. I think that's the nature of Seattle people.
Totally.
Because when I'm sitting in LA and somebody approaches me, I'm not like, oh my gosh. I'm like, hey, how's it going? But here, I want somebody to talk to me, but I think that's the perception people have here in Seattle. Like, oh, this guy wants to talk to me. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody just wants to have a conversation because they're in from out of town and they might not know where to go have a drink or where to go shopping or whatever it might be.
The whole Seattle phrase, not only opening them up, but getting all the other people, because there are a lot of singles in this city that are just indoors, that aren't out in the town with Chris Nishawaki every day or out with Lisa Martin. They are sitting inside, sitting at Amazon. There's many different people. The people of Seattle that are social tend to be very social. And they know every place to go. And then there's a whole other genre that are closed off.
Yeah. People stay in their bubbles. Like they stay around, they stay within, they don't really venture out, I don't think, a lot out of their little group of people or where they're like 2 bars or 3 bars they like to go.
I had a talk with a couple girls in my bar the other day that had moved here from Denver. And as you know, I was in Denver for years. And so the biggest difference coming here is that when you go out in Denver, you go out with your girlfriends, you go out with friends, you make 30 new friends in a night and you come home. When you go out in Seattle, you're going out with those same 5 friends and you don't talk to anybody else. You come home with those 5 friends.
Seattle's close knit. we got to open up. I think there needs to be more booze and more smoking. I think those couple things would help. I mean, Aaron, do you feel like it's just like both sides? That people, one, aren't approachable, they're not engaging, and so they clash? Or, I mean, I see a lot of it that people approach on a person and the person listens like, what are you doing talking to me? I see that a lot.
I just don't know if there's a solution. I mean, I have a couple of friends who have tried OkCupid and Match.com, and I don't know if that's really been the route for them to take either. And I don't know if you have to check your ego at the door to do those kind of things or take a risk. Or it's just interesting. I think people need to be open to any kind of opportunity, but it's that Seattle freeze. It's just interesting.
I think it's great to be a single guy in Seattle. So many beautiful, elegant, intelligent, interesting women. So.
And Chris knows all of them, just so you know. He knows everyone.
Apparently not enough. I'm still single.
Well, some things have to happen. I mean, it's got to be, but I think both sides got to be more approachable. At the same time, I think people just got to loosen up and enjoy the moment. Yeah. Try to judge everything so quickly drives me crazy.
It's like you said, if you're going to go out to a bar, there's a reason why you're going out to a bar. And if you don't want to talk to somebody, sit in a coffee shop.
Coffee shops.
It's definitely cultural. I grew up in Argentina there where it's second nature to be out. And I remember when it was a big deal, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago in Seattle, when there was a trend towards communal tables. And then it was the novelty of it. But whereas that's second nature in a lot of other cultures.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. That's true. Well, let's move forward even a bit. Now, here's a funny one, though. Since we have such a bad dating scene going on, I did a little research. I found this out of nowhere.
I like this.
They ranked the horniest cities in America. And you wouldn't believe this, but Seattle was ranked pretty high in the horniest cities, right? They based it on fertility rate, which, I have 4 children. They based it on condom and lube use and sex toys.
Or purchase?
Use, purchase, sales.
Same.
And they used sales of sex toys at Babeland. They used that as one of the research places. Guess where Seattle was ranked? From 1 to 10.
I know.
Guess what, Seattle? I mean, can you believe this? Was it first?
No, we're not warm enough to be first. I think people in warmer weather probably...
I mean, I sort of gave
to reveal more.
Yeah.
It wasn't 10th.
We're in the top 5.
Which I was shocked. I thought, no way. I mean, people can't get a date, but we're buying
out doing stuff.
Doing stuff left and right.
Well, there's Match.coms. Maybe there's a way that people are on Match.com.
Here's the deal.
One night stand, the booty call.
Yeah, you can't get a date here, but there's no problem whatsoever in people doing whatever they do behind closed doors. Don't you differentiate?
I guess that's why you don't need a date. You're at Babeland buying
because you got stuff taken care of. There's no commitment value in the in and out.
I don't know. I just say this, that the people who ranked this gave Seattle number 3. And I'm shocked. I was shocked when I saw it. I'm like, what? Who? What? How'd that happen? I mean, number 3 in the country.
I was surprised at number 1.
Well, that's how it should be, right?
I've been to Austin. I believe it.
Really?
It's a young town, too.
It's a young town. I get Austin. I just thought us at 3.
Austin and L.A. are probably the 2 cities that have the most attractive men or women per capita that I've ever been to.
They don't call it Hot Atlanta for no reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, how did that happen? So as much bad dating going on, something definitely good happening at the house.
Really going good.
Don't have to leave tonight. Well, yeah. I went to Babeland today.
Condom sales or condom use is not really a very accurate measure of sex. I mean, because there are plenty of couples having sex without condoms.
Right.
There are probably other cities out there.
That's why they threw fertility rate in there.
Yeah.
Birth rate, man. Birth rate. Well, I thought that was it. 3. Well, look, we're halfway through it. We're going to move into the restaurant and food segment. We're going to go to commercial here on the Joprah Show, but this is the best of 2012, and things are going to swing a little crazier in the second half. So we're going to take a quick break, listen to some old school, and we'll come right back with the best of the Joprah Show on Alternative Talk.
Like the Joprah Show and all its no excuses truth.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
You need to follow Joprah on Facebook. Just search for the Joprah Show, and on Twitter, it's @Joprah Show. We'll keep you up to date with the latest and greatest about what's coming up on the show, public appearances, and everything that is Joprah approved. Joprah approved.
There's an exciting new astrology hour, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. with Deborah Silverman. Deborah's unique blend of psychology and astrology turns planetary language into plain English. Join us for an interactive hour that's guaranteed to give you personal insights in a fun and entertaining way. Tune in to Deborah Silverman live. Whatever your life question, marriage, job, family, relocation, or just curiosity, call for a live reading Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and visit Deborah's website at deborahsilvermanastrology.com.
Every generation needs a voice, and on Mondays at 2 p.m. here on Alternative Talk 1150, Lewis Howard's show, Head of the House, is the voice for the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Head of the House brings education, insight, and information that brings health and healing to the challenges of managing your home, relationships, and your career. Tune in once, and you will be hooked. That's Head of the House every Monday at 2 p.m. here on Alternative Talk 1150.
Advertising on the Joprah Show is a great and affordable way to have people stand up and take notice of your business. When you advertise with Joprah, you reach an audience that's smart, savvy, and is receptive to your message. For more information, email Joe at joprahshow@gmail.com. That's joprahshow@gmail.com.
Want to hear something different from talk radio? The choice is clear. Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mark Monroe from My Unfold, and you're listening to The Joprah Show, only on Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
Welcome back to The Joprah Show, and it's Prince time. If I was mayor, I would shut this city down and we'd have Prince.
He's an amazing life.
Yes.
Oh,
200,000 of us down the pier would just have a Prince concert.
Woohoo.
Right? Prince, Stones. I'd have a whole bunch. It'd just be like a whole day of music. Like in
And
August,
food
too, when
trucks?
it's. Well, yes, for sure. Food trucks for sure. Lots of food.
Free Ferris wheel.
Free Ferris wheel and fried chicken galore.
Sounds like a party.
Because if you know Joprah, he loves his fried chicken.
Some fried chicken in
What
the
are we
house.
talking about fried chicken here? So if you just joined us, best stuff here. Breaking it down. We got the fan favorites rolling in now for the best stuff. And so it's going to get serious. I brought you guys in here because now this is the part this is where you get paid the big money. Tell me things I don't want to know. But talking to food trucks, a lot of stuff about food trucks. Is food trucks going to stay? Or is it just a flash of a couple years and all these folks are going to open up their own restaurants and disappear?
I think food trucks have pushed innovation in Seattle. I think a lot of really talented cooks, this is their opportunity to showcase their food. And some of them will fail, but the fact that it's pushing the boundaries on the culinary scene, I think is fascinating.
It gives the pop-up restaurant an opportunity, too, whereas maybe they don't have enough money to open up a brick and mortar. They're able to throw a couple hot plates on a truck and cook up some food there for street, literally street cred. You know, just
Street cred's big.
Yeah, it is.
It's big. They got guys. I get blasted. We're here. We're there. We're up on Beacon. We're down on First. We're over there. And people are lining up, running to them. You see cars pulling over. But let's talk food trucks today. Best of food trucks.
Yep.
Who has the best food truck? Who was in 2012? I mean, some will say still Mary Nation, Where You At Matt's, but there's a whole bunch of new cats this year, too.
I love Mary Nation, I have to be
I
honest.
do too.
The one of the new ones this year is Monte Cristo by Danielle Custer, who is the former Food and Wine Best New Chef, was the head chef at Taste Sam, at 727 Pine, at Fuller's when it was at the top of its game.
Dang,
so
Fuller's.
serious chef, focusing. And this is one of the beauties about food trucks. They're very the best ones I think generally focus because you can't do everything in a tiny truck. Off the res, they're making really good fry bread. So the best ones I found are the ones that are focused. They're not trying to be all things to everyone.
Parfait, the ice cream one.
Parfait is really good. I like Parfait. The cutest food truck I like is Top Pots. I just love their truck. It's a good-looking truck.
I love Maximus Minimus truck.
Oh, yeah.
It's a metal pig. Yeah.
It's a big pig, angry pig, too.
It's awesome.
but
You know it's coming.
And you probably don't even get out to eat street food. Again, you're doing
I eat
conference
plenty of
calls.
street meat, just not street food. Different story.
All right.
Oh, wow. That's a
The hot
whole
dog
other
trucks.
game right there.
I got the hot dogs on lock on second and first. I can tell
I can tell you where they go, street meat.
I would say the only better looking truck I've seen in the Top Pots truck is the biscuits truck. Have you guys ever seen
biscuits and milk or milk and
It's just
biscuits?
biscuits.
Oh, yeah. Those two cats, they started up. That's pretty good. Popular. So who's got the best truck? Is it Mary Nation still?
That's my vote.
I love Mary Nation.
Yeah. I mean, it's Spam and it's delicious. Like whoever can make Spam good is impressive.
Right?
And that's a classic example of what works. It's innovative. It's something that probably would have been a lot riskier at bricks and mortar.
Sure. I think I'm still with Where You At, Matt.
I like where you're at. They have the catfish po' boy.
Mary Nation's very close. I mean,
Catfish po' boy.
I can go back and forth. But if I had to make my last call, I think I'd probably call Matt and say what's happening.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about Mac a little later because we got some stuff on Mac coming up. All right, well, let's move forward. Late night grub. A lot of restaurants doing happy hour. A lot of places are staying open until 1 o'clock. But where do you go get the food? Who has the best late night program in the city?
Yeah, it's one of the positive trends in in the last few years in Seattle, the late night food has gotten
ridiculous.
Yeah.
like serious food.
Serious food.
At till 1 in the morning. I still like to go to the ID after 2 in the morning. Four C's, Ho Seafood.
Yeah, Ho Seafood. Jake Garden's not one of those that's open late night too.
Yeah, it's expanded way beyond that. I think Lacosho serves really good food till 1. Babar, you know, they'll serve food until up to 4 in the morning.
Momiji, just up the street from there.
Momiji's really
sushi,
good.
Yeah, till 1.
Yeah. Terra Plata sells till 1 in the morning.
But if there was a last one, if you had to go one, there's a lot.
Yeah, well.
It's a tough question.
I've been to Toulouse Petit.
I'm telling you, I'm Toulouse. I'm Toulouse. Not even to show favoritism, but hands down from everyone I go to, the biggest menu, most consistent execution coming out, always a great vibe, great drinks behind it, and the food stands out on its own as Toulouse.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's a huge menu. And I think it's remarkable that your kitchen is that versatile and is serving food that late, that much food that late.
Consistent.
Kudos to the big house.
Yep.
Okay. I like all of them. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd probably come to my own place. I'd probably go to Toulouse. But I'm not too far off of going to Babar because I've done the late night there too. So
late night noodles are amazing.
That's what it should be.
Just cravings.
Yeah.
Just cravings.
Yeah. And pastries too till late.
Yeah, pastries too.
Yeah.
The angry pastry stuff up there, she's rolling it out, man. She's angry. Don't talk to her. I went by and said hello to her. She just pulled it out and threw some flour at me. I was like, I love this lady. Well, let's talk fried food. Because, on the Joprah show, I love my chicken. There's no question. We've had many conversations. Ezell's has been in the house. We've been talking fried chicken here this year. But who's got the best fried chicken? Outside of me, of course. Who's got the best fried chicken in Seattle? If you were going to get a platter to take home for 4th of July, where would you go?
I'm going to surprise you.
Oh, I love it.
There are 2 fish houses.
Oh.
I'm going to agree with you. I know what you're going to say.
Blue Acre and Flying Fish. And Flying Fish has been serving fried chicken for a long, long time. They have really good fried chicken.
I thought you were going to say Steelhead, which is kind of
Steelhead, Blue Acre.
Yeah. That gravy is,
Steelhead has fried chicken?
Yeah, and with like greens too.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good greens or so-so greens?
Good greens.
Like Southern style greens?
Haven't been. So.
Steelhead. Annie, you got best fried chicken?
I'm a favor of Steelhead.
Wow, Steelhead. I had no idea. That's a good call. So they'll be in our cook-off next spring.
Yeah. Maono, I think they're solid.
Maono's good.
Again, a restaurant that focuses. They used to serve it, I wouldn't say haute cuisine necessarily, but certainly fancier.
Right.
They decided to focus on fried chicken and whiskey.
You got to call ahead to get a chicken there, don't you?
Yep. They'll ask you how many chicken you want, half or full. I said, well, I'd like 1 full to go and a half for dinner. Can't help myself. Well, let's talk about lounges. Since we got the Steelhead is like the fried chicken winner so far. Very good call. Never had that one. I like that. Let's talk about bars. Not just any bars. There's a lot of pub about cannons and zigzags and the raw boys of the world. But let's talk about underrated. On the Joprah show, we try to bring a little shit to the game. Let's talk about something maybe people don't know about or maybe just forgot about. But what's the most underrated bar in Seattle?
I think a bar that used to be everybody used to go to that doesn't anymore is Teeny Biggs. I mean, Teeny Biggs is the bartenders that have come out of Teeny Biggs who are doing something now. The list is still ridiculous, and it's still a great bar to sit at and go. I think it's just a bar people, because there is cannons and there's zigzags in this. People forget about Teeny Biggs. It's been there. It's legendary. You were there.
It's evolved. What's interesting is that Teeny Biggs, when you were there, is different than what it is now. They have a bartender, Shane, who's there now, who's a very young guy, very serious about cocktails, and I always see him around at other bars, studying, not getting drunk, but actually studying whatever bartender's doing. And he'll bring me back to his bar. The bar at the Fairmont, I think it's called the Garden Lounge.
Garden Lounge. Well, because you used to be able to smoke cigars in there.
Yeah.
The little one off to the side.
Yeah. And it's just classic. And I can't remember the name of the bartender, Mike or something. He's been there for over 10 years. I remember going there when I was in college and playing dress up and getting all excited, and it's still there, still delivering consistently, long before the trend towards classic cocktails.
Right.
There's an old school barkeep at, I think he's still at Staple and Fancy, that can make a mean old school cocktail, which I can appreciate. But I always say that I don't feel like Mistral Kitchen gets enough cred for the lounge. I mean, I know it's a restaurant, and it's just the drinks. There's Matt, is that what we
Matt
said?
Bailey.
Yeah, behind the bar there, and just the cocktail program is extremely impressive, and there's a wide smattering of bitters and fresh juices and everything that they're making in there, and that the liquor collection is impressive. So I always like that.
I like that. You break it down for me, Aaron. Tell me what you got.
I'll try.
All right, Ann?
I like Mistral, but I go back to, I know you already name dropped them, and you want to say that they're overrated because there are so many great cocktail places in Seattle. I went into Rob Roy the other day and had one of the best cocktails I've ever had. Mm-hmm. And I truly am someone that goes in and I like just a light, clean cocktail, nothing too crazy, but Zigzag has never done me wrong. Cannon, recently I finally gave in and started going to Cannon here and there, and have had some great cocktails that I couldn't imagine replicating.
Right.
From up there.
You're right, though. Rob Roy, Anu, the owner, she's like a mind reader. She just will look at you and know what kind of drink you order. You describe a little bit to her, and she will create it.
I pointed at like one thing that looked good, and she's like,
"Yes,
I got this."
So you mean I can walk in there and she look at me and go, fried chicken.
In a glass.
Here's my blender.
Here's my blender. Good. So, I mean, I don't know if there was a true winner, but those are definitely big names.
Yeah.
Those are good names. Good call. Team Biggs, I like that. Old school. If we're talking dive bars, people, we can't forget about dive bars. I mean, I miss Ernie Steele's. I miss the original Frontier Room where I could go down there at 6 a.m. and
With
have a
Nina?
beverage. Yeah.
Nina?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, there's not many left.
Wicked.
But here's some old school
Wicked.
places. But, what's the best dive bar out there right now? And, and I used to say when you used to get a PBR, that was because you were a dive bar. Now it's sort of the end thing. So I don't want to.
It depends on how you define dive bar.
Are we talking? Go ahead.
It's like every neighborhood in Seattle has a dive bar, and that's one of the things I love about this city. But I mean, to me, dive bar is also a place where there's regulars have been coming there for decades.
Decades.
Yes.
When Seattle was distinctively blue collar.
Yes.
But there's Joe's in the International District.
Right.
Your namesake, so to speak. It's that kind of joint. The Turf, even though it's moved about 10 years ago from its original location, just down the block. I think those to me are definitive dive bars. Hattie's Hat used to be a dive bar.
Used to be a dive bar.
Yeah.
Hipster hangout.
Yeah.
Hey, the Sloop in West Seattle.
West Seattle and Ballard.
Yeah.
West Skylark, Alki,
Yeah.
Tavern. You can every block there's Pogies. There's dive bars galore in West
5 Point
Seattle.
Cafe.
5 Point Targie's on the top.
I was just going to say
Targie's.
Targie's.
Yeah.
Targie's
Are
is
there
got-
windows there still?
There's like a window, but blind closed.
Dive bars shouldn't have windows.
Yeah, there's a client.
The darker,
Yeah.
the better.
My new favorite after Christmas is Rickshaw. Anything when you're rolling up with the flashy neon lights on an all black street.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. But there's definitely some good spots. Dive bars got to keep staying. They can't sell. All you dive bar owners out there, don't sell.
I have to say, when Dave Miner bought the 5 Point Cafe about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he kept the original aesthetic, but it's gotten better. If you could improve on perfection, he did. It's remarkable. I still go there.
I'll give you a dive bar that I went and checked out. I thought was fun. Is that I love Hooverville. There's nothing special
You
about
can
it.
throw peanuts on the floor.
You can throw peanuts on the floor, but I can at the same time drink me some 25-year-old scotch if I want to.
Yep.
It's the craziest sort of weird thing. I got this humongous high collection of spirits of brown liquor in this little bar, but I love Hooverville.
Do they have beer?
No, I didn't. I don't ever.
I can't find a place in Seattle that has beer.
Oh, Buckley's does.
They do?
Yep. I had beer.
Like a secret back I gotta find.
Right. Speaking of bars, can't have a good bar if you don't have good bartenders. But let's talk about. There's a lot of great bartenders. Boudreaux is of the world, and the Murray Stinsons. But who's the most entertaining bartender? I go out a lot, and I say this, is that sometimes I feel like the Seattle bar scene has gotten away from entertaining me when I'm sitting on the bar by hellos and how you doing and what's going on. And that's sort of becoming a lost art. They're over there mixing up a drink that takes an hour to make, and they forget about me. I don't need much. My wife needs a hello. That's about all we ask for, but that's going away to the wayside a little bit. Who's the most entertaining bartender in Seattle right now?
I like Brian Lee. I like sitting at his bar. I like how he talks to me. He talks to the people next to me while he's making a drink. He flirts. He jibber-jabbers. He does everything. And it doesn't, even if the drink is intense, I don't feel like I'm waiting for the drink.
All right.
So.
I mean, Aaron, you get out. You drink a lot of fancy cocktails around the city. I mean, when you drop down, where do you like to go? Who's entertaining to you?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm still in search of the most entertaining bartender. I was at a place I was down in Napa like 2 or 3 years ago at a bar in Yountville, and just this amazing restaurant, incredible food. There was one bartender who had the entire bar that sat about 20 people, including this 10-person bar top, and he owned it. He's all over the place, carrying on 6 different conversations. I mean, making drinks from scratch, plugging in orders, running his own plates, and I haven't seen that too much here.
Right.
Maybe that's because there's enough staff to be able to help somebody like that out. But I mean, I don't know, that kind of charisma. I'm still in the search for it.
All right.
I'm going to call out bartenders in general. No one specific, but one of the trends that I don't like in bartending, it's gotten to be so narcissist. Like, I'm so important, look at me. And I think that's why it's gotten away from customer service. So the focus is now on them versus the customer.
Right.
Having said that, I think there's some very talented, very entertaining bartenders. Cannon is just like an all-star roster of bartenders.
Right.
Vessel, same thing.
Zigzag.
It's right. Just, and they're consistent. It could be a different bartender every night, but they deliver consistently. I think there are a lot of bartenders that I really fly under the radar who are not bringing attention to themselves. I think Teresa Nimitz at Queen City Grill is absolutely brilliant.
Right.
And really charming, too, by the way.
Our girl up at Poppy, she's doing some crazy good stuff.
Absolutely.
She's doing some really good things.
Liberty is always one that I feel is a little underlooked, especially with their brown liquor selection.
Right. They're
Those guys
making
aren't
all this.
and they're not showboaters. They're just
Hey, we just make
serving
drinks.
up you a good drink. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
No, my boy at my place, I think Big Country is one of the kind of guys who just welcomes you with big arms. He's 6'5". Here's this big guy pointing a drink, and he seems to have a good following. So I definitely give him some love of just entertaining people.
I think him and at your location, Pat Bolts, is another one. There's no ego. It's checked at the door, but it's very comfortable sitting across from him. They can explain anything to you. But
I think it just needs to come back. I think we just need to get back to taking care of our guests and entertaining and doing those things, the little things.
But we have no shortage of talented bartenders. That's the thing. They might not be wanting to put on a show, but they're going to make you an awesome drink. You're going to get excellent service.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we move forward. On that. That's good stuff. Let's talk about chefs. Let's move ahead a little bit and talk about chefs because we're going to be a little tight on time here. But we got to talk about chefs, and there's some big things happening. What's the biggest story this year in 2012? Chef-wise, with Altura getting Restaurant of the Year, Eric Donnelly leaving Toulouse to go open up Rock Creek, Matt's going to leave his truck to open up Rue. A lot of big stories this year on the chef scene, more than I can remember in a long time.
I think it's Ethan Stoll's overall takeover that's happening. It's like he's just
big.
Yeah. Everything. Where else can I go? What else can I open?
Right.
There's going to be a fist fight with Tom Douglas.
Him and Tom need to have we need to have a war.
There's going to be a brawl.
A big brawl. Tom versus Ethan on the Joprah show. Who wins?
I'm looking at neighborhoods. I think Capitol Hill's still going to grow, but there are restaurants that are closing on Capitol Hill, too. So that might be a sign of the trend slowing down a little bit. But, look out for Pioneer Square. Fremont's growing, where Matt Lewis is going to open.
Right.
And Eric Donnelly both.
Maria Hines and
alumni. Yeah, Maria Hines. Just not, so Fremont, look out for Fremont. And then I think Pioneer Square's make a comeback. And I really like what's going on in Magnolia. It's a sleepy residential neighborhood, but Tanglewood Supreme, I think, is doing amazing things. Milady's, it's not your average. Yeah, it's not your average Irish pub. The food there is remarkable. And Smania's is now a steakhouse, and I think they're doing amazing things there.
No, I agree with you. I think Fremont in 2013 is going to be the spot. I think it's going to be the joint. You have big names, big players going to that area, and the food world's going to really blow up in Fremont next year.
It's funny because it's funny because Fremont's just been kind of, going back to the dive bar thing, it's been a young bar scene, and I just got my fake ID, and I'm going out as a junior at UW.
Right. And I'm gonna get.
That's where you go.
I'm going to get to work. I went to Babeland today, and
I got my loop.
But now it's being recognized for food, which is awesome.
no, I think it's good.
I agree with Chris. I think you should watch out for Pioneer Square in the next couple of years. I think, you always see things come in full circle. Pioneer Square has been dead for about a good 10 years, and you got little people going in there. People starting up little sandwich shops that are becoming wineries that are coming in big. And I think, too, with the whole push, if everything goes well with Chris Hansen and everything, that whole area is going to have a new boom down there.
Well, it's affordable, and they can get it now, and it's going to just catapult.
Right.
It used to be that as a developer, you look for that anchor tenant, but now it's the small businesses that make the big buildings attractive.
Yeah.
So which is a big trend.
Nice. And I think it is. There's lots of things happening. I definitely would say Fremont Pioneer Square is going to be very interesting in the future. Let's jump up to the big story of the year. Let's talk about what was the biggest restaurant story of 2012. I mean, there was quite a few. I mean, Robin Leventhal moving to Local 360. Ethan Stoll continuing to open up big-time restaurants. I mean, but what was the biggest story on your guys' plate this year, restaurant-wise?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I say this on the Joprah show. I said it last week, and I'll keep saying it. I think the whole Murray Stinson thing, to me, is probably the biggest story of the year.
Yeah,
I mean,
industry-wise.
Industry-wise, I think that was one of the biggest stories. $200,000 now they put together for one person. And in all our years, we've never seen that. Never. And if you look at his list of all the restaurants that had parties from around the world, it's huge. Yeah. It's almost, I hate to say it, 60-minute-ish, to hear a story like that.
I just have to see it roll into an annual philanthropy for, whatever cause he may choose or the friends and family behind him. I'd love to see it continue to hit up more, impact more lives.
Sure. Well, shouldn't there be like some hospital group getting together and try to put together a small package for restaurants or for those people just in general who could afford maybe $50 a month instead of $300?
I've been saying this for 20 years, and I don't know who's in the position to take the lead to provide health care because it's tough work. It's tough physical work. Restaurant work is tough physical work. So I don't know how it could be integrated into what Obamacare looks like. But one of the fascinating things about it is Murray's one of the most modest people you ever meet. This happened organically. This was unanimous. That kind of movement, it just doesn't happen. You can't create it. You can't hire an expensive consultant to make it happen for you. It just happened organically.
Right. Anybody else got a big story of the year for me? Bueller?
I think that takes the cake. I mean, industry or not, I think that takes the cake. It's a great humanity story coming out of Seattle.
I think liquor privatization is going to have a big impact on the industry. Ultimately.
Right. Well,
I think it's changed the way you do the game, especially for as many small restaurants as there are here. Having to taper back the amount of items that they bring in, because even to our cost level, it was a big decision whether you're going to take a price increase and pass it along to the guest or not. Yeah. We chose not to, but it changes the way you manage your business.
Right.
The other thing to look for is how is this going to impact the small distillers? Because that's a growing business. Is this going to stifle the growth? And then Washington is uniquely positioned because you have what amounts to distributors in Costco, and now Amazon's getting into the wine business. So two major locally based companies that are getting into the booze business in a serious way.
Right.
So we'll see how that impacts the local economy, the local producers.
Nice. Let's talk wine real quick before we get to the end, because I know that you guys are big winos just like myself, and we got like 2 minutes left on the show, so we'll move fast. Let's talk about up-and-coming or maybe new winery of the year, 2012. There was a lot of great wine out, but was there anybody that stood out for you guys? It's people that you tried. I mean, you got the Ambassador Vineyards coming out with the people from Duckhorn putting together some stuff. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff wine-wise. I mean, Sip Magazine, that's all they do is talk about wine, which is awesome.
And beer and spirits.
It's a great magazine. Is there anybody else out there you guys like, wow, this is, watch for this person?
Jeff Lindsay Thorson, the wine director at RN74, is making his own wine. He's on his third or fourth vintage now, but first really sort of full production. Mike McMorran, he's the winemaker assistant winemaker at Mark Ryan. He's got his own side project. Chris Peterson was the assistant winemaker at DeLille. He's got Avinia is his new winery,
which is good.
Amazing wine.
Yeah.
And Marty Talker, Microsoft retiree, was at Microsoft very early on, is funding him. So I think that helps him expand. But McMorran, watch for him. Watch for his wines.
Right.
These are really well.
And he's taken over for what is the
Force majeure.
Force majeure, yes.
So this guy's going places. Very, very talented.
Force majeure is awesome.
Yeah.
That's his one.
Good stuff today. Good stuff. Well, this is it. Best of 2012. Coming down the end of the stretch. We had a great studio audience today, and here was Ann Thiebert from Sullivan Steakhouse, the queen herself, Aaron Thomas, Mrs. Freelance writer and extraordinaire, and the king of food, wine, and all events, and of course, the ladies of Seattle, Chris Mishawaki. And don't forget, On the Talent, Lisa is in the house today. Thank you, Lisa. Folks, thanks for coming in today. Great show, great information. We'll be posting on the Joprah Show on their Facebook page all the stuff from the best of 2012. We'll get that done tonight, so look forward. I'm Joe Janot. Thank you for joining the Joprah Show. I want you guys to have a great new year. Be safe. Use a cab, use Uber, but whatever you don't drink and drive. I'll see you guys next week on the Joprah Show on Alternative Talk Radio. Bye-bye.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it?